racing for the American Grand Prix. And a lot of drivers all checking up with each other. Regan Milana, drive through, start, and here we go. Racing here as around the outside, Tim Stall's gonna mug Christian Ramau and take over the lead early on. Steinberg will also get a drive through for jumping the start. Christian Ramau getting challenged by Luca and Dretta as well. They're going side by side on the long straight here. It's very tight for the top drivers. A couple of them getting it wrong at the rear end. Oh my goodness! Oh my god! So many drivers join into the air. Another one up in the air as well. Hitting the wall. The race is already done. What a start! So much drama, so much action. A lot of pack racing. So far, though, playing pretty nice. They're using the X-Play crew, Martin and Mark Crawford. Remember, they played great defense within each other, trying to get some positions. Somebody's gone wide. Who is that? It's Peter Sabot. Peter Sabot has gone wide off the circuit. That's going to allow, I think that is, where's Sven? Is Sven up there? No, Sven's off. So both of them potentially making contact with each other out of turn one. Having to play catch-up now in the early goings as some of the front pack gets to get mixed up. Nixon gets mugged there. Purple Men trying to go through. Side-by-side action behind them. There you see Jade watching the action. Can Sven get the move done on the outside of Nixon? Does so. He goes up to 8th. We don't know, unfortunately, what went down there. Between Peters, oh, trouble! And Sven slides the rear end. They're glitching between each other. That's that little bit of a lag spike there, but that's protected by the new ping rules here for CMRC. Back in the last round, Nixon and Sven surviving what could be a horror crash around here. Jay trying to go around the outside. Regan Milana finding a slow Nixon. Sven off the circuit. He goes wide into the grass. They all trying to fight through. 4 cars all battling. Torres trying to go through. This time by. Where is he? I'll try to catch him on the board here, chasing against him. Moland now looking for a move there. Nixon around the outside. Deep entry, hitting the wall potentially. Now they're side by side. The pack racing this part of the circuit, getting amazing. Meanwhile, Christian Ramau, Luca Andretta, side by side. Very fast part of the circuit. Luca sticks ahead for the time being. Pack racing around here through the Essence. It's getting dangerous out here. Oh, it's trouble. Oh, it's a big crash. It's a big crash. Big wreck. Mark Crawford hit out. Meanwhile, now Ilham, really bad exit. Here comes Superman now. 6-7 Steinberg. There we go. That's his name in Discord. That's what we want to get called by. Almost contact, landed with each other. Ilham takes it to the grass. Super Steinberg to the inside. Oh, look how close he gets to the rear end of the purple guy there. Mike Van Dorn and Evan Steinberg. One of the best performances I've seen Super Steinberg do around here. Oh, wow. What a fight. Can he get up to P5 here? Mike Van Dorn holding on to the outside. Les Mata also may have a piece of this pie. Still holding on. Evan now. Can he pull a switch back? Oh my god! He got it down the outside. He gets it around the outside. Evan Steinberg, ladies and gentlemen. Man, oh man. That is Super Steinberg on a mission. Oh, Mike. Oh, he taps the rear. Oh, he's stuck. He is stuck there. Reversing. Trying to get out the way. Peter Simone. They're all going to be seeing yellow flags. Don't have equipment yet. Head on over to all official Thrustmaster websites and use code CMRSC and check out. That'll save you 15% off. Thank you again to Thrustmaster for allowing us in your partnership program. All proceeds go right back to the lead. So Regan Milana now chasing down Nixon for 5th as more drivers come in for their pit stop. And a great run here for the nurse as they head into T1. Looking very sharp. Oh, it's Nixon. Very wide and corner exit. Here comes Regan Milana. Stays contempt. Remembers what happens into that pack race earlier on through the Essence. Regan, little bit of a back off now, but now onto the long straight. Has to tuck in. Does so. Looks to the inside on Nixon. And Nixon looks like backing off there, maybe holding on to the outside, and Regan Milana is going to take over 5th place. Great fight between those two. Martin Webster as well. He's having a great race, defending champions for the team championship. But of course, you're just watching that battle on the big screen. Ilham wide in the cross as well. Nixon fighting hard to hold off. Looking for a spot now. P6 up for grabs this time by. We're getting word Danny Nasseir, Mark Crawford may make contact with each other. They're both going. So that's good on them. Meanwhile, Lesmano. Great run on Nixon to the outside. Nixon hugs the inside. Still defending, holding on to the racing line, getting on the throttle early on as Lesmana. Can he pull it off on the inside? He makes his intentions clear on the inside, but he does not go for the dive. Meanwhile, Regan Milana coming up behind, as well as Peter Sabot. 4-car battle coming up fast for P6. And you see how close this one's getting. Nixon's tires running out of grip here. For context, Nixon's on the hard compounds against Ilham Softs side by side now. What can go down here as we watch over the fence now? Nixon holding on the position. Still keeping it up for grabs. Meanwhile, fresh out the pits, brand new soft tires. Regan Milana in this fight. Potentially to look for a battle. Ilham stays tucked in on the rear of Nixon. Nixon and Lesmana both go deep. And you see Lesmana trying to hunt down for the slipstream. Going up the Assets now. Looking for a move. What can Lesmana do? Nudges his nose on the inside. That now makes it the outside as we get into the longest straight of the circuit. Regan Milana just watching this battle from the outside. Looking in. Nixon to the inside line, this time by holding on. Audi versus Mercedes. And you see Ilham try to get the move, planted down inside this time. Can you get it done? Regan Milana also trying to fight through. Nixon loses out to P5. And now Regan Milana also having a chance. However, Peter Sabot trying to look for a move on the outside. Side by side. Now Nixon went from 5th to 8th in a single lap. And now it could look to be 3 wide here as Regan holding on for dear life, but he goes way too deep. Peter Sabot is going to take advantage of that unless Regan can dive it down the inside, which he does. Up the inside, cannot get the throttle done as soon as possible. Still neck and neck. 2 quarters to go before we complete this lap here with 20 minutes left to go. In the grass as Regan's going to slow him down. Peter Sabot confidently ahead, but it's going to be a narrow line. Now Regan Milana will get through because Peter Sabot will take it straight to the pits. What a race this has been from the very start. All the battling here and there. The pack racing was incredible to start off with 25 drivers. We finish off here after 10 retirements. 10 cars retiring out of this race for one reason or another. We already know that about 2 of them did have 2 or 3 of them having too much damage, the rest of them too much damage. But Tim Stahl, he already knows that this bag is his. He just needs to make it to the line. I wouldn't celebrate prematurely. Let's get it to the line. But what a championship this is turning out to be. Luca Andretti will still hold on to the championship lead by a landslide. But all eyes and a round of applause will go to the German for Watt Racing in the Mercedes. Tim Stahl makes his race victory, his first one of hopefully many here in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club for the German Grand Prix. Luca Andretti holds on to the championship lead, will finish P2. Next up will be this man who fought hard and valiantly. Christian Ramel from Brazil in the Joker Mercedes will come around the final corner and he'll be happy with that one. So top 3 end of front straight for the podium. Christian Ramel crosses the line. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another round of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club's DTM World Championship. We're at the halfway point here, and we are at Donington Park for the third round of 5 in this championship. Drivers sitting in the pits getting ready to go for qualifying in just a moment, and we are having fun for it. Lots of drivers in for it today, expected potentially even 30, maybe even breaking the record potentially, who knows, but practice will come to an end. Welcome to another round of racing here. We're at the halfway point. It's all gonna be for fun out here. And can't wait to see these drivers go down here today. But if you're tuning in for the first time here, well, first of all, welcome. And second of all, let's take you through what we're going down with today. So, on the calendar, we've already crossed out the German Grand Prix at the Hockenheimring. Last round at Watkins Glen was absolutely fantastic racing. And now we head into the halfway point. Donington Park for the British Grand Prix, and 2 rounds left to go for the Indonesian Grand Prix and the Italian Grand Prix. So, for today's race format, we've already completed practice, and now we're going to get into qualifying. It's going to be 15 minutes of qualifying, where the drivers are going to be going on and setting down their fastest lap to determine pole position. And then it's the race, the one that everyone's going to be looking out for. It's going to be 60 minutes of racing, no extra lap included at the end, so the drivers are going to have to watch their fuel, watch their tire strategy, and that leads us to the bottom right here. Mandatory compound change. Very important that you keep this one in mind. The drivers have the soft tires and the hard tires to play around with. A lot of drivers playing around realizing the hards don't feel as great as the softs, so it's going to be a lot of experimentation and a lot of different strategies here and there. And then the pit window. It's going to open 5 minutes into this race, and it's going to close 10 minutes towards the end. That's going to be the real tricky part for the drivers, that they're going to have to plan their pit stops basically anywhere in the race, but you don't want to do it too late because that's when the pit window is going to end. However, majority of the time, the driver should be fine. And of course, no pit limiter and no virtual safety cars. We're getting to the start of qualifying. The drivers are going to be on the track in just about a couple seconds, and I think the green flag has actually just come out. So let's swap on over to the main screen and let's watch qualifying go down here today for the third round of the championship. 17 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in to another round of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. And let's go find these drivers out here. P15, Tim Stahl is your first man out there on track. He is your American Grand Prix race winner, and he's looking to go 2 for 2 here today. He loved Watkins Glen, that's for sure. I'm going to bump that audio up for you as Tim Stahl now comes around Melbourne Hairpin. Donington Park has really been a true test all throughout the years since 2022, the very first year that we had this championship. It's featured every single year since, and we have seen countless amazing finishes. You got to go back to 2022, where we saw the iconic Sander van Leeuwen against Justin Nasseir, who laid it down all the way to the final corner. Justin famously losing the rear end, spinning out after going side by side with Sander for the race win. Justin lost out as a little bit of lag there coming from Tim Stahl. Hopefully that's not on our side. We're just going to double check that. I think he has a little bit of a high ping there. Nonetheless, what could history bring this year in 2025? 19 concurrent viewers. Regan in chat saying, do believe? Of course I believe in Joe Hendry, or Regan Milana, maybe. I think I see Steinberg in chat, and welcome. I see the cool sunglasses in there. 20 concurrent viewers, and we're only in practice. Stick around for racing, and you're going to notice we have a lovely little graph on the top right-hand side, just under the map. You can use code CMRSC on checkout You can save 15% off all Thrustmaster products. Here we go. Tim Stall is just 1 corner to go as we were yapping away into the hairpin now, down into second gear. Very slow part of the track. Rear end could catch you off guard. Tim's going to come across the line nonetheless, and the drivers at the time, they're going to be chasing down a 1:15.131. That's going to be the first one the drivers are going to be chasing. And it's a long gap until we get the next couple of drivers to come across. Here comes Marlon Young. Haven't seen him much in this championship. He'll put down a 129. Lots of improvement to go there. Peter Sabot, 133 as well. And we have Conti, 1:16.0. Evan Steinberg, 16.6. Jarrell Moore, 16.4. And a couple more drivers still left to go to set their flyers here. Looking at the hairpin now, who do we have? 10 now to the line in the Lexus. No improvement into the top 10. Oh, no, he does. Into 9. Danny Nasseir, Nixon. Oh, Danny runs off the circuit. Rejoins back on. He's going to have to try another lap. Nixon goes up to 5th. Next up is going to be Klaus, newcomer Nick also in there. And the returning Ian also going to be coming around to the line here. So far, Tim Stall, pole position, 15.1 as it stands. And he's going to take that car straight into the pits. Who do we have next to look out for? Here's Peter Sabot. I think he's just, actually, no, he's going to be taking it into the pits. P21. Who are we looking for there? I think that's Regan Milana. I think he also took that car straight to the pits. And now he's back out. Side by side, I think, with Mealy there. As they both exit out, trying to give each other some space. First round of qualifying complete, and there's your top 10 so far. Evan Steinberg still mixing it up, though. P4 as he crosses the line. Super Steinberg trying to continue this momentum. Of course, coming back from Watkins Glen. Steinberg, P2. Was he always P2, or is that now an improvement? Regardless, though, he is still 0.8 off of the pole time. And Conti, newcomer here. I will call this one his official debut. Last week out, it was a bit of a crash course for all the wrong reasons. Didn't get it right, wasn't looking well, and honestly joined with not too much practice under his belt, even though meeting the cutoff requirements. Conti, however, really turning his luck around here, and he's currently sitting up in 3rd. His teammate as well, I believe he's just outside the top 10 in P12. So the Lexus outfit doing pretty good out here. The Argentine driver sitting on the 2nd row. And look at this one here. Jarrell Moore for Team X-Play. This is really your 2nd generation of the X-Play franchise. He has been really clawing his way throughout this championship, as well as Mark Crawford. Both drivers who did not have the best of luck in the GT4 Caribbean Championship, turning the luck around in DTM. This is, of course, the playground where the drivers really get their foot in the door. I'm talking about your famous drivers like Luca Andretti, Mike Van Dorn. These are your drivers who really had to set off their best throughout this one. I think Tim Stall may have potentially gone through track limits on that part of the track. Yeah, he's backed off that lap, but he was flying that time by. Evan Steinberg, however, is improving this lap. We've got P4, I think that's taken into the pits. But yes, the old X-Play outfit, X-Play 1.0, Martin Webster, Marlon Young, in the session right now, defending champions for the team championship. Marlon Young, of course, your world champion of 2024, not finding the foot here this time around. Christian Ramau, Mike Van Dorn knocking Steinberg down a couple pegs. Ramau now on the front row. But here comes Evan Steinberg. And yeah, let's look at that interior for a moment. He's rocking a Super Me. It's not flattering for a lot of other drivers, but for him, it's the power that takes him to victory lane. Crossing the line for Steinberg, he's only going to stay P4. And we're looking for our next man to really set himself apart from the rest of the pack. Who's that going to be? Steinberg going side by side there with Tent, and he's going to take it straight to the grass. A little bit of contact is made. Nixon to the line and goes up to P7, the driver from Trinidad, rocking an updated livery there, taking it straight to the pits as well. And here we go, around the final corner. Big name to watch around here. Can he put this one on pole position? Remember last week it was Tim Stahl. Tim Stahl, 1:14.874 out of thin air. And it was zero improvement throughout the lap except for the third sector. Well, that really came out of nowhere. Christian Ramal, let me just readjust there. Christian Ramal was your previous pole sitter back at Watkins Glen last week. Can he put this one back up? Tim Stahl, however, may have a word to say about it. And that frankly came out of nowhere. It was a 22.2 first sector, 20.4 in the middle. Both of them, zero improvement whatsoever. Not even the fastest in the session. Ooh, a lot of traffic there. I don't know who that was. Could have been Peter Sabot potentially on pit exit. Getting it wrong. Nonetheless, though, it has hampered Tim for another flyer. But we're going to stick here with Christian Ramal. Peter Sabot as well, though. He's in third. So great opening part of this qualifying session. We're already past the halfway point of this qualifying session. We still have 60 minutes of racing left to go, so you do not want to go anywhere. Cannot miss that one at all. And you see Christian Ramal, he's actually warming up the tires. He's lost 5/10 off in the middle sector. Peter Sabot we're watching here now. He's chasing down Mike Van Dorn. He's not on a lap. Is Van Dorn on a lap? No, he is. So very interesting qualifying session here. Just going to move my chat around so we can, so I can get a better view and see what the fans here at CMRSC are talking about. A better view here. Here comes Mike Van Dorn this lap. Rounding the final corner, wide entry in the Beamer. The BMW winning back in 2022. Hasn't visited victory lane since. 5 minutes left to go. And are we seeing any improvements? Marlin fighting improvements on this one. And just a bit of history lesson, of course, Marlon Young is your champion back last year for CMRC's DTM World Championship. But if you want a small history lesson to the last time we were here at Donington Park for DTM, well, look no further. Marlon Young, pole position and a race win as well. So Marlon Young knows the ins and outs around here at Donington. We'll find out what he does. A little slide on corner exit, but for sure, he's got to improve from P9 this time. No, that slide costed him. Here we go, final corner. Tim Shaw, Nick is on the inside, trying to get a little piece, trying to get faster. And nothing can be done. Looks like Tim, he's going around the outside line, and he's going to take it straight to the line. Oh, losing the rear end, almost exactly like Justin Nasseir all those years ago. As he was trying to set off a proper qualifying lap, he's already going to ruin it before this lap starts. Tim Stahl, purple in the first sector, so he was really flying out there with a 22.1. So 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. And your top 10, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty close out there. Of course, Tim, class of the field, as looks like there may be some trouble just around Hollywood. Looks like it's been cleared. Here comes Tim Shaw around Melbourne hairpin. Purple in the middle sector. He's not improved in the first, but can he wrap this one up around the final corner? There he goes, racing to the line from a 14.874. Can this be improvement? It is 14.868. and once again dominating on pole. He's going to take that one straight to the pits and try another lap at it. There's Christian Rahul still looking for the front row or pole position. Peter Sabot currently occupying that front row spot. It's going to be Mercedes and Audi that could start us off here today. And here comes Rahul. 2 corners left to go. Make that 1 corner. Through the hairpin, clean as a whistle and straight to the line. Time is ticking and nothing can be done this lap. And you see the drivers trying to hurry out of the pits, but they also got to watch out on pit exit for those drivers on a flyer. This time around. So where can we find more improvement? Is there any improvement? Just cutting to Tim, losing the rear end, but just about saving it. Very importantly. That's Rahul off the circuit. That's going to be his qualifying. Potentially over unless he can come right back out. He's got like 15 seconds if he wants to make that choice. But he's going to have to push. And yeah, confirmation, he is coming out. And pit exit busy. Whoa, Mike Van Dorn getting a move on. Christian Rahul waiting way too long. I don't think both Mike and Christian are going to make it to the line. Was Christian just watching the front straight, make sure he doesn't make contact with anybody on a lap, but it may have just ruined his chances. I don't think they're coming back around in time. 50 seconds left to go in this session here, and everyone pushing desperately to get one more lap in there. Drivers like Milana, we also have Lesmana and more, all in the pits realizing, you know what, I've done the best I could with the amount of fuel I had on the car. Look at them both racing to the line. Potentially, maybe they could actually make it to the line. We'll find out in just a moment. Tim Stahl, remember last week out, he got very unlucky with other cars trying to set a lap. Milana mentioning that the traffic is just absolutely horrendous, trying to put down a lap. Conti is also on a lap as well, so it's going to affect Stahl, and that is not going to help him in the slightest. All over the rear, nowhere to go. He's still going to push on, potentially get that pole. Conti is deciding this lap is potentially not my lap unless Tim is just going quicker than me. 2 corners left to go. Make that 1 corner. Tim, any chance of improvement from his 14.868 to the line? Now he's going to take it to the pit. Did Christian get to the line in time? That is something I'm not too positive on. He also has Mike Van Dorn ahead. Both of them, in fact, racing directly to the line. As we're going to look at the front straight now. And any drivers looking to improve, I think we're actually kind of far away from anybody, any sort of civilization. Rahul, Van Dorn, 2 drivers left to go. Oh, and Van Dorn gonna take it off to the side, realizing this is not my lap, giving it to Christian. And he's gonna take it nonetheless. Christian Rahul, any improvement, any chance? He's improved in the middle sector. 20.493 to the line now. Christian Rahul, the Brazilian. No, we cannot do anything about it. Tim Stahl on pole position, the only driver in the 14s. It's a 1:14.868, followed by Peter Sabot's 1:15.244, and Christian Rahul's 1:15.489. All right, congratulations to your top 3 there, Tim, Peter, and Christian. All right, folks, let's get ready for racing. So 2 minutes, 28 seconds left to go here before we get this one underway. Want to give a massive shout out to Leslie Owens. I don't think she's here for today's round, but a lovely new paint scheme for the safety car. Shout out, Leslie Owens. CMRSC driver here. Lovely green. But let's go through your grid here today. Start off with the rear. So, starting in the bottom order, Casper Tazayaki. We have Ayan, Kilver Torres, Marino Tent. We have a newcomer here, Nick Serenos. Klaus Klint. We have Arenen and Amelie sharing the same positions there on the line to the grid. Danny Nasseir, we have Paz, Martin Webster, Layla, Miss Midnight Bloom. We have Mark Crawford, Nixon, and we're unfortunately missing a spot. It's Marlon Young. Where is he? Oh, he's in the pits. There's trouble for Marlon Young, not on the grid. Maybe he's got to rejoin, but that's his spot, I believe. He's got to find his way back on, unless he rejoined into the session awkwardly and it's put him into the pits. Nonetheless, though, it's going to leave Jarrell Moore pretty lonely up there, even though Webster is not that far behind. Or I should say Mark Crawford not that far behind. So that's Jarrell Moore up there. As we enter your top 10 now. So, Conti, Steinberg, Lasmana, Van Dorn, Milana, Ramau, Sabot, and Tim Stahl rounding out. There we go. 30 seconds left to go. Who's going to take this one? Who is going to take the race win here today for round number 3? Very important round. Let's get a better angle of this one. Here we go. 4 lights, ready to go. 4 lights on the board, and we go racing for the British Grand Prix. It's a great start from Tim Stahl and a lot of wheel spin from Peter Sabot. They head into T1 now. Christian Ramau taking it up the inside of Regan Milana, claiming that P3 position. Mike Van Dorn trying to get a move on Regan as well. He looks to be falling a bit backwards there as they head into the old hairpin. They all start to single file as we now start to see the rest of the competitors. Looks like a couple drivers going on. There is Klaus, almost 3 wide there. Ayan losing the rear end, and he is off the circuit. Couple drivers as well, P22, P23, also in no man's land. Tim Stahl in the lead here so far. Peter Sabot catching up there, and look at that, Conti having a chance here, trying to go for Mike Van Dorn's P5. He looks to the inside of the chicane, but backing out just in time. Super Steinberg just behind as they now head into the Melbourne hairpin section. And looking for the inside move there was Regan Milana. Did not get it done on Christian Ramau. And look at that side-by-side. The 2 X-Plate drivers, contact is made as Crawford. A lovely dive bomb. Webster didn't even expect it. Turned in way too early there. But as we head on to the front straight now, it's Tim in the lead. So, Tim Stahl continuing to hold on to the lead of this race. And he's doing a great job already opening up this gap, a little bit off the circuit. Meanwhile as well, Mike Van Dorn also touched the grass onto the outside, caused him a little bit of trouble. And now Conti may have a bit of a chance to get to this fight here for P5 once again. Is that a better line around the final corner? Oh, it is not. Still struggling, looking for that spot. Into the chicane section here. And identical runs from the 2 of them. Into Melbourne hairpin. Better exit there from Mike Van Dorn from previous laps. And still keeping up. Fastest lap, Tim Stahl. This is very important for the championship because one driver you may have already noticed not in the fray. It's Luca Andretta. He's not here today. So this is a big chance for the championship to fully swing back in the cases of Tim Stahl. Remember, he won last week. He's sitting on 28 points. The drivers ahead, Evan Steinberg at 33 and Regan Milana at 36. All drivers in contention for some hot points here today. But it's very early goings in this race, and anything and everything still can go down. Meanwhile, on your short screen, we have the battle for P9 as Nixon trying to challenge Jarrell Moore. That's for P9, of course, to go back on board with Conti. And still nothing can be done to look for a position. He's gone a little bit deep there on the grass. And Mike Van Doorn doing a great job of holding on for this position. But Conti may have a chance on the inside. Nothing can be done there. Meanwhile, Moore getting a better exit. Looks like Nixon has gone a bit too deep. Maybe Nixon can get one on the inside. Has to take it the long way around. Hits the grass. Loses out to P11. They're side by side. Webster trying to get that one. Webster's going to back out of it. On board here with Taziaki watching that battle ahead of him. Very close between them. Meanwhile, this is your best chance here, Conti, if you can get Mike Van Doorn here through Red Gate, and it's nose to tail this section. And there's trouble there. Torres around the final corner getting it wrong, and he's gone going. A lot of drivers also getting it wrong. Very interesting. Van Doorn, deep trouble here. Side by side to the chicane. Conti's gonna force it down the inside. There's contact, and it's gotten worse for Conti, and he's sent off the circuit. He's gonna get himself back going, but that is trouble here for the early goings of this one. Back on track, and that dive down the inside may have been a bit too premature, as Steinberg gonna take an advantage from a slow exit from Mike Van Doorn. And ladies and gentlemen, if you remember last week between these two, well, it's gonna get a bit spicy. Does Van Doorn now play a lot more aggressive here, defending against Evan Steinberg, Super Steinberg, as we go through Hollywood now. This is a real Hollywood blockbuster for Super Steinberg if he can get this one done on Mike Van Doorn. Mike, who have been struggling all throughout this championship, the worst of the worst last week. He's really gonna put the defense on now for Evan Steinberg. And Steinberg losing out a bit of grip and not able to go through that time around. So not helping, and Van Doorn, better exit, able to go through. But great fights all throughout the field. Here comes Miss Midnight Bloom. Oh, the rear end. Not helping out whatsoever. Trouble. Danny Nasseir in the wall. Contact potentially with Lesmana. And Lesmana's through, so we're not entirely sure what went down there. Pit window now is open, so the drivers come in at any point in this race. Between the pit window, 43 minutes, so more than enough time. Let's take you through those tires while we have a bit of a break with these battles here. Actually, we still have some battles to go. Here comes Tatsuyaki. Oh! Losing the rear end. I thought he was going to come into the pits, but just nowhere to go. Rear end absolutely lost it. Nixon surviving, keeping up in 9th. So Tim and Peter, P1 and P2 on the soft compound. Then we have Christian Ramau, hard tires here, so it's going to make sense why Christian's really falling off the battle for the race lead. Regan Milana on the softs, then it's Mike Van Doorn, Evan Steinberg, Jarrell Moore. We have Nixon, Layla, and Casper all on the hard tires. And that is your top 10. So big strategy changes throughout this one. And the leaders coming up now, I think there may be some lap traffic potentially. Who is that? It's Torres. Brand new livery for Torres, but unfortunately it's not helping him on race pace. And look at that behind. Regan Milana, Steinberg dropping down so far behind this pack. And yeah, he's not really playing nice there from the top. However, Riga Milan, a good chance here for P3. So Dr. Milana against the Brazilian Christian Ramau, all fighting for this championship. Regan's got the best chance at this championship. He's got to finish on this podium, however. Meanwhile, contact between Mark Crawford and Klaus Klint. Meanwhile, Klaus is ahead. Take a look, however, at this mid-pack fight here. Let's try to go to the front of it. It's led by Martin Webster. And behind, Kasper Tazayaki, and he's got a lot of friends behind him. BMW and the Mercedes. Ilham trying to go for a move there on Serenos, but nothing can be done. Look at this one here. As Nick, in his debut, sitting in P13. I think this is the only newcomer here for today's race. And Lilham's going to dive it down the inside. What a massive, massive cut there. And is that going to be reviewed right then and there or taken after the race? Because that was a hell of a dive. But was it entirely legal, or did he straight up just cut the entire circuit? Oh, and Serenos trouble for him. He's lost out. A lot of time there, and oh, down the inside, Klaus Klint is going to go through. Serenos trouble for him. Oh, and it's getting from bad to worse. Saving it, back on circuit. And I think we're getting word now, and it's going to be looked at the end of the race. For that overtake there, and could just come up as a time penalty. There's trouble for Layla, who was sitting in the top 10, and just like that is going to drop all the way down to 16th position next to even more. It's all the wrong way there. Nick avoiding, hold the brakes there, Layla, rolling off the circuit, trying to stay out the way. Going through that time by. So very peculiar as strategies now coming together. Christian Ramau, who was on the hard, have swapped over for soft compound, making his mandatory compound change complete. He's going to the very end. So fresh new softs, and he's got a bit of clear air to go for him. I just saw in the background, I think that was Tazayaki, who had a very awkward exit. That's going to put Martin Webster big chance at a move. Tazayaki getting the move done on Martin. But no chance that could be done there to continue. Layla, more trouble for her. And that is at Melbourne Hairpin. It's gone bad to worse. What went wrong with Layla? More importantly, what tire is she on? She is on the hard compound and struggling out here. She was one to really be vocal about how negative she feels about the hard compound as a whole. She is going to take it straight to the pits. But she looks to be the only driver so far out there struggling on that hard set. And when I mean struggle, I mean making very, very big mistakes. Danny Nasseir, and who is that? That is Torres. And Torres was a lap car. And he's now going through. And oh, there is trouble there. Tazayaki, just after the chicane, a word that it may have been contact with Rima Ilham. It may have been just one mistake that costed a lot of drivers to crash into him. A lot of incidents going down. Meanwhile, P14 of Klaus Klint also off the circuit. And he's down under. So, early goings of this one. 47 minutes left to go and a lot of mistakes going down. One thing's for sure, this top 10, at least the lower half of it, finding their feet. Still finding their feet in this one. Here we go, on board with Nixon, a driver who had a great campaign back at the American Grand Prix. And oh, too much throttle there. And lost the rear end momentarily. But still going. Just lost a lot of time there. Meanwhile, let's look for Ilham chasing down Martin Webster for position. And meanwhile, there's a slow and stopped Kasper Tazayaki, who is now your third retirement out of this British Grand Prix. You heard that right. That's 3 retirements done in this race. Marlon Young out 4 laps in, and Amelie out 3 laps. We actually have word of Amelie out because of just system not performing there. So we're going to call that a system failure on the car. Not getting the best of frame rate. Retiring this car is limited. Got taken out 2 times and lapped by the last one. I give up, and I believe that was Torres. And Tazayaki has rage quit, and he says, I refuse to ever drive these cars again. And ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what truly happened, but if we have, what is that, 20 concurrent drivers still all willing to continue this one, we're gonna land that down as a good old skill issue for Tazayaki. I'm just kidding, man. Maybe just the car not working out for him. That's, of course, teammates of Peter Sabot. Hopefully, Tazayaki, and whatever happened to him, that could sort itself out in the near future. But a shame, not feeling this car. Brakes kept slowing the car down. I think that's Torres just mentioning is Peter Sabot making a lot of mistakes on this lap, dropping the tire off the circuit. And yeah, so Torres was also talking about a bit of issues. There is trouble. That is 10. Oh no. Teammate of Iris Conti. And Conti, of course, is sitting in P7. And 10 is trying desperately to get out the way he does, and he's sitting in P18. So a lot of drivers not so happy with the early goings of this race. Retiring out early, calling it quits, and rage quitting out of this one. Meanwhile, the rest still having the skill to continue this one. And here is one battle here. Steinberg, who has just had an amazing campaign throughout this one, throughout this championship. Especially in the last round. What a great fight from him against Mike Van Dorn. But now he's got Christian Ramal behind him. And Christian's going to take it down the inside. Steinberg may not have a word for that one there. Both of them sliding the rear end together. And actually, it was a bit of contact. I think Christian just closing the door a little bit too early. Just tiny bit early. Making a bit of contact with Steinberg's front end, but Steinberg looking a bit racy, a little wide there, corner exit. And I think that's actually costing him a lot of time, about 2-3 tenths there. And Christian Ramal is going to head back up there. Now on to P4. As he continues this fight here, Conti now still chasing down Mike Van Dorn. Into the curb, exiting out onto the back straight, heading into the chicane. And once again, this battle continues here. Remember, they both make contact with each other. Conti sending it up the inside of that chicane just there a couple laps ago. And bounced off Van Dorn very awkwardly, sent him off. For Van Dorn's case, I'm not too sure what had sent him backwards. Because now he's trying to defend for P6 when he was all the way up at P5 against Evan Steinberg. P11, trouble. Ilham Lesmana off in the grass there. Crawford lost the rear end, it looked to be. But gotten going that time. Crawford outside as Ilham is going to stick it up for P11. Firmly in the points, of course. And Lima also, big chance for this Brazilian driver to get through on the Guyanese ahead. for P12. The final position for points in this one. Meanwhile, Lexus versus BMW continuing out here. Still heavily contested battle between these two. And lots of other fights to go down throughout this one. Like this one, for example, BMW, Aston Martin together. Crawford not getting the best of exits there. Trying to find his way through. And now on to the back straight, looking for a move through the chicane section. Onto the brakes, through the chicane. And nothing can be done that time around. Back up to this fight here. And now, Conti. Completing now lap 14. Looking for P6 to try to chase down Evan Steinberg. You see Steinberg just going through Old Hairpin. And these two just exiting out Hollywood and Conti. 5/10's the difference in this fight. Van Doren doing a great job of keeping his car firmly ahead, not worrying too much about the defense. Just keeping his pace very steady on this one. And that BMW, great job in this fight. Of course, both of them on the soft compound, so it's a very equal game. Milana has taken it straight to the pits on this lap. Who's currently sitting in third. And decent gap there until Christian Romao gets past him. He will go past him, of course. Or will he? Actually, I don't think he does. Oh, he did it. Christian Romao was too far behind to get the move done on Regan. So essentially, Regan just had a free stop. Of course, you can't forget that Christian Romao also making a pit stop in this one. Oh, trouble! 3 cars off. Peter Sabot gets a 10-second time penalty for cutting the circuit. That will be added to the end of his race time. Oh, it's getting word P20 is off. Who is that? That's Ian. Trying desperately to stay out the way of the fellow competitors flying through. But very interesting as a lot more drivers lapping through. Milana, not the best place to come out there. Oh, pass. He touched the grass and he lost the car. Losing out. And 10 is going to take it straight to the pits. Yeah, and he's going to serve that pit stop there. But lots of action going on. And this fight here especially. So continuing on here, looking at the top 10 now, Ilham Lesmana challenging on Martin Webster for position. Webster a little bit deep, losing the rear end. Great chance for Lesmana to get through side by side as they go through Hollywood section. Webster, does he back out? He wisely backs out of that fight. And that is a position taken down. Lesmana up another position. Peter Sabot into the pits. And Tim left out to the lead. Layla, 10-second time penalty, cutting the circuit. They have 8 warnings. And they have already used them up before they've even got halfway into the race. And that is not the best thing. And take a look at this. Peter Sabot on pit exit has pressure. Regan Milana looking for P2. Danny Nasseir up the road, has to let through the 2 competitors. And Danny is gonna let through. Danny's gotta let through. He does let through. has to brake a bit more to allow Regan Milana as well. It hasn't really hampered Peter, doesn't look like it. But here we go, battle for second. Both of them on opposite tires. Sabot on the hards, Milana on the softs. You can clearly see how quick that soft compound is as they fight. Tim Shaw in the pits. Peter has gone deep, and Regan Milana side by side. Contact is made between the two drivers. Peter holding on to the inside. More contact is made as that happens. Tim Shaw get the free stop, exiting the pits, and now Regan, what does he do? Tucks to the slipstream, goes to the inside, has to back out, and that one's not going to go through. Peter Sabot nonetheless is going to go way too deep, and that mistake will officially cost him P2. Wonderful, wonderful fighting here as Sabot tried to hold on, but starting on the softs gave him the advantage early on, but it's losing him out on this hard compound stint. Tim Stall built up a great gap, and now 9 seconds, almost 10 seconds ahead, hard tires for him. So Regan Milana has big work to do out here. Remember, Christian Ramau also made a pit stop earlier on. He is very much in this fight. He's just about 2 seconds off, though. Just up the road, Martin Webster, lap traffic. Webster's got to get out the way as soon as he can. Maybe he might do it on the front straight. And he is going to do it. Is he not going to do it? I'm confused. Webster, you gotta let through. Ooh, that is very tight. In my humble opinion, he didn't really do anything wrong there, but I felt like it was just a lot more polite to do that one earlier on the straight. It has costed Regan some time, but nonetheless, though, this is still a battle that's not really changed. The only difference it has truly made is Christian Rao closing up. He's got about 3/10 down. He still have to, of course, overtake Martin Webster, and Webster's going to make his life a lot more easier. And he does so. And now Peter Sabot having to challenge back. And these people, I think you gotta be more specific there. Who's thought no one blue flags? I think, well, so far I've seen blue flags work. I think they could be definitely a lot better letting them through on corner exit rather than corner entry for the next one. However, what Martin did there, it was not wrong, but it is going to hamper yourself a fight. Ooh, and I think our camera just, oh, well, apologies for that. I'm just going to swap off there. I am not too sure what's going on with our camera there. It's like a key is stuck. I'm trying to sort that out. I'll plug back in my keyboard. Apologies there. Epilepsy galore. I sincerely apologize if, that did just, there, what just happened. We're good. We're back to go. Yeah, apologies. I just clicked the camera button and, yeah, you just saw it there. Our entire camera system, our camera crew, still somehow working better than the Formula One Singapore camera crew that all they want to show is the F1 wags. As we head into turn one here, here comes Ilham Lesmana chasing down Jarrell Moore. Through Hollywood, and a great chance for P7 here. Oh, and down the inside, he's got him. That was a mistake there from Moore and did not get the best of exits. Meanwhile, more lap traffic going through. I'm trying to shuffle down the order. There we go. Christian Ramel has closed up even more. It's now almost a second. And Regan, a lot of company this time. Let's get back to that rear cam here and watch this fight. Great exit through to Hollywood. Now into Old Hairpin. How is it looking? There's your gaps there. It's almost identical. If anything, Peter Simon on those hard compounds. It's going to lose him some time because he did take that soft compound start. That's what led him up with such a great lead up at the front. However, this time by, with the hard compounds, he set himself up for a slower middle stint. He knows that. And he's going to have to sacrifice and just take what he can get. More lap traffic up the road here. I think that's iRacing's. Yep, it is. And here we go. Christian Rahul also going through. May have slowed him down a bit more than he wanted to. And oh, it's not going to help him. He slides the rear. Sliding the rear end. And it's going to lose him way more precious time than he needs to lose. Meanwhile, 11-second lead and fresh hard tires. Nobody's touching him out there. Tim Stahl looking for the 2 wins now, going back to back. Can he do it? If you aren't tuning into the first time here, Kirby Motor Racing Sim Club, welcome. And if you are a fan of sim racing and you want to get some Thrustmaster products, you can use code CMRSC and it'll save you 15% off. Thank you again, Thrustmaster, for allowing us into your partnership program. And all proceeds go right back to the league. And Christian Rahul, as we continue this British Grand Prix, we're now officially at the halfway mark. And what a start this has been in this race so far. The real talking point has to be Regan Milana. His strategy working brilliantly. And now up into P2. He's in this fight for this championship as well as Tim Stahl. However, with Tim down in P4 in the standings. In fact, let's look at those standings. A closer look here. Luca Andrade, of course, your championship leader. He's not here today. And with Regan with a little comfortable gap before this round, it's now put him at a bit of a deficit. They're going to be very close on points coming to the end of this one. If anyone wants to do the calculations, you're free to do so as it stands right now and how the championship will look like. This is, of course, only going to be from racing conditions, not necessarily qualifying points or weekly points. Regardless, though, it's going to really close up the gap. Tim is going to be right there. If not, if he does take the lead of this championship, it's going to be by only just as we head into the final 2 rounds of this championship. It's going to get very tight out there, Ted. You can't do that. Well, I'll say it right here. From not just a race steward, but a former sim racer in leagues, I'll tell you right now, if you're going to be a lap car, let them through when you're exiting the corner, pull off to the side, get on the brakes immediately. And second, you know that famous rule, you're never allowed, you cannot take out your teammate. In Blue Flag World, you're not allowed to slow down at the apex. That is the worst place. And in a much more harsher form of motorsport, taking like Formula 1, that is going to put you down a very harsh penalty and even penalty points. So I'm not going to single out anyone out here in this race because, I mean, in our almost 5 years of CMRC, I've seen it countless times, but nonetheless, though, it's just something you got to worry about. And if you are listening to the stream and, you know, you do have some faster cars approaching, got to let them through. Got to let him through. Not on the apex. Pull off the racing line and let him through there. Bonus points, you can do it the moment you exit that corner, not on entry. So there's your race leader, Tim Stahl, dominating this one. And you look at those tires there and how they're going so far in this one. And there's your compounds, of course. So Tim on the hard compounds, Regan on the softs, Peter on the hards. That's Christian, Mike, and Evan, all on softs. let's go through the top 10. Starting off with Nixon. Great showcase out here. Definitely could ask for more, and I know Nixon can do a lot more. Currently sitting in 10th, brand new livery as well for Team Show Me Your Heart. A lot of work to do, though, before he can get back up. And I think that's Jaden Harrison in the chat, cheering on Tim Stahl. And shout out to you, Jaden. Hopefully we can see you in these future races, man. And there we see P9, Jarrell Moore. And he is actually in a great battle of his own. Unfortunately, though, it's not for position. Or is it? Oh, it's not for position. Layla has decided to not stick her line there and just turn over Jarrell Moore. And I am not too sure what that's all about. Did she know that she was battling? Or a lap car? Regardless, though, it's going to be a bit more damage for the front end of that Aston Martin. Layla, you got to stick on one side of the circuit if you're going to let through cars. Unless you didn't know that, which I mean, you gotta pay attention to your real time. And there's flags on your screen to tell you it's a blue flag. No clue what went down there. Maybe a little bit of a brain fart there. Here's a Conti. A lot better, way better performance here from him, as we're now getting a small cam here, and we're going to chase that battle down between Christian Ramau and Peter Sabot. They're actually getting pretty close. In fact, that top pack is going to get close, so you know what? Let's swap gears. This battle is actually starting to heat up again. So we're going to return back to Conti in just a moment, give him his flowers, being in the top 10. Peter Sabot picking up the pace now, and subsequently, Christian Ramau able to come through. And Christian, of course, he is also fighting in this championship as well. And he's currently sitting in P5. He's behind Tim Stahl. And they're actually tied on points, 28 points apiece. But this on-track battle here can get very juicy. And oh, Peter Sabot! Very similar to how he lost the position against Regan Milana going deep into turn 1. He squeezes that Mercedes on the outside, but I think that slow exit's just going to cost him way too much time. Ramau is going to snipe himself a P3. And Peter Sabot, this strategy going on a hard middle stint, really showing its true colors out here. And, well, if he could still make it on fuel if he pit at the perfect time. I don't remember if he did pit at that halfway point. Regardless, though, you can still make this race on a one-stop. And if Sabot is going to do that, don't count him out. Even though he's on the hard tires, losing out some time and losing positions. Oh, these soft runners, as a bit of contact there is made. Ramau, slow exit and slow entry. Keep an eye on Peter for the rest of this race. Meanwhile, let's go back here with Ramau. And Ramau is, no, it's Sabot who's going to take him into the pits. So maybe that was his hard set done. And is he going to swap? He's got to swap into the hards at this point and make it to the very end. New tires, new fuel. And he's back out and going. So quick stop for him. Well then. Ain't that interesting? That's actually kind of just put everything that I said in my head backwards, because now he actually might be going for the undercut on both Christian Ramau and Regan Milana if they were to pit. So the real question that's on our mind is the simple fact that, do they have enough fuel to the end? Sabot going wide off the circuit, not going to help him. So Peter is going to have some work to do. And take a look at this. Christian Ramau reacting to Peter Sabot's pit stop. You know what this reminds me of? Mexico F1. Past Mexican Grand Prix. When one driver came in, everybody reacted. towards the end of this one. How's the pit exit looking? Luckily for Christian Ramau, I think that one mistake Peter did running off the circuit has just costed him that chance of going wheel to wheel with Christian Ramau, or even overtaking. So that's put even more pressure down. Regan Milana, oh, the Ayan, trouble. Let's look at him. Who's next to come across? It's Jarell Moore. He's too far behind for anything to come down here, for him to at least see yellow flags. So Ayan just off the circuit. He's currently down in 19th. We also got word that Klaus also did have a retirement 25 laps into this race. That was about 4 laps ago. So we're down here 20 concurrent drivers. But yes, as I was saying, this has gotten pretty interesting now because Regan Milana is this point on the back foot and he comes in. This is so interesting. What a strategy change. It's really just like the Mexican F1 Grand Prix where you had one driver pitting, even though they could have very much stayed out. They're coming in, fresh set of tires, and Christian Ramau, has he got enough to potentially put this one down? No, he doesn't. And Milana is going to stay ahead. So, second, third, and fourth, all reacting to each other, but this time, Regan is on hard tires. Regan Milana may have been doing a double stop on the softs early on. A hard last stint for the end, though. That's tight. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a very close fight for the end of this race. And with Peter off those dreaded hard tires, who still kept up pace in this fight for second. Tim Stahl also in for his second stop of the day. And should be his last one. And I think he should be swapping to the soft compounds by the end of this one. He's got a very free stop. And he's gone. So free stop there. He's kind of just in his own race up here. And now, game on. Tim got the soft compounds now. He's got a 13-second lead. He is out of there. Steinberg also in. So, oh, side by side here. And that is going to be Ayan who has to find his way off this battle. Very tight here. And get on the brakes there, Ayan. Get on the brakes there, Ayan. He's got to let through. And I think he's going to do that on the outside there. And he has done. I'll give credit to him. Nothing can be done in the old hairpin to let him through, but corner exit, you just gotta get through. But meanwhile, that's actually helped Peter Sabot. Big chance here. At this move, at the chicane. Nothing can be done. Battle's still on. Nose to tail through Melbourne hairpin. A little wide on corner entry there for Peter Sabot. Another battle going on for P10. That's Lima and Webster going at it with each other. And I think side by side was their contact. I couldn't tell from that small cam there, but Webster off the circuit. And no word on what went down there. More lap traffic to go. Who is that up the road? It's Jarell Moore, P9. And this battle here for second, really getting good. And I think Jarell now realizing that there is a massive fight behind him, and he's going to need to get let through these guys. However, look at Christian Ramau getting spicy out there. And look at that. Jarell Moore letting through. Oh, it's at the hairpin as well. It's what we were talking about. Jarell, oh, everybody. Look at this point. If you got to stop off the racing line before you get to the apex, just do so. but we continue to say it in this one. The lap traffic making it so hard for these lead lap cars to get through a lot more quicker. And it's just clogged up this battle to be a lot better now. It's getting really good out there. This battle for second place really going down in the history books as one of the best battles here at Donington Park we have ever seen. And we're coming down to the final 16 minutes. Lots of time for anything and everything to go down. Regan Milana still holding on to second place for the time being. But as they get onto the back straight, Rahul once again, massive opportunity to take this move on the inside. Potentially cannot be done there. Oh, he goes off the circuit. Oh, he runs off. And Peter Sabot is going to take that move. What has happened to him? He has lost a hell of a lot of time there. And that is a huge shame. Losing time out there. But it's now led us down to a one-on-one here before Christian comes back. Peter Sabot back on the charge against Regan Milana on those hard compounds. And it is going to be a massive defensive fight if Regan's going to hold on to Peter Sabot. And a better entry there on Old Hairpin. Is that going to seal the deal? Regan Milana holding on there. Peter backing up. The door was shut. As they get through to McLean's. Up the hill to the double right-hander. And still, this battle gets close. And that one little back off there from Peter Sabot allows Christian back into this fight. Peter trying to get ready for the optimal line into Melbourne. It may have costed him. Here comes Christian Rahul. Peter defending the inside. Christian on the outside. Can he pull the switchback of dreams? Maybe not this time. He has the final corner left to go. And Regan's going to be cheering Christian. He's going to say, come on, keep putting pressure on Peter Sabot so I can get away. And now, side by side in the T1. Is there any chance? Christian, has he got his side by side? Through to Hollywood section now. It's very close between the two. Audi versus Mercedes. It's Old Hairpin. Little bit of contact. And Christian Rahul, what a move there, is going to get Peter Sabot. And that fighting was exactly the plan for Regan Milana. It's what he needed. He's about almost 2 seconds ahead. This has truly been an incredible fight. With 13 minutes, 34 seconds left to go. Remember, Regan is not on the optimal tire. So there's anything that goes down here. Anything and everything can go down here. Never say never here in CMRSC. We are getting a classic British GP finale. That's Layla there, just exiting pits, watching her exit on pit exit. And Peter Sabot able to wind it up and send this one back around if he can charge down against Christian Rahul. What a fight. Truly, what a fight this one has turned out. And meanwhile, as all the other drivers very far from this fight here It's come down to this. Peter Sabot, chance on the inside against Christian Romao. Peter's going to dive it down, almost clipping Regan Milana. What a fight! And Christian back up the inside, side by side, into the hairpin, the final hairpin. Oh, there's contact! What a fight! Wow! Are you serious? Peter Sabot, all his might, got the move done, but Christian, final corner there, got back going. Holy, that is awesome. This is awesome racing. Nixon, 10-second penalty for cutting. And now, Regan Milana holding off here as Paz 10-second time penalty, cutting the circuit. And oh, there, I think that was somebody going off. It was Danny Nasseir. Just letting through these guys here. Regan defending the inside. Remember, still on hard compounds. He's got 10 minutes to defend P2, but for how long? Christian Romao, big chance here. Don't forget about Peter Sabot. Into turn one. And over under. Christian may have got it. Has he? Regan squeezing through Hollywood. What a shot. What a shot here. Christian Romao down the inside of Old Hairpin. He's got the move done. Finally, he's got it on Regan. Does Regan go for one shot of glory? He does so down the inside. Door is open. Side by side, double right-hander. Regan's got to send it up the inside of this one if he wants any chance. Those hards not going to survive longer. Are we going to see three wide here potentially? They're neck and neck, Regan and Peter. Christian Romao ahead firmly, it looks to be. Peter Sabot able to nick Regan Milana, but not the best of exits into the chicane. Regan Milana now side by side into Melbourne hairpin. Over under, and nothing can be done there. What a fight. Truly, what a fight this has been. For Peter Sabot and Christian Romao, getting the best of the hard compounds from Regan Milana's Ilhan, 10 seconds for cutting the circuit. Here we have some X-Play battles going on here. Martin Webster, Mark Crawford, and Lima just behind. You got to give props to Regan. That is probably one of the best. Oh, trouble there! That is losing the rear end. Lima, P13. Tim Stahl's going to come up. He's going to get some yellow flags, and he does so. Lima doing the right thing as well. Getting out the way. Maybe not the best timing to get back on circuit, but the most important thing was there was no contact. And we actually can swiftly get up to this fight here. Conti chasing against Ilham, who has a 10-second time penalty. What a fight this has been. Throughout this race, Holy. Oh, no! Peter Sabot! Oh, he's off the circuit! Oh, no! That is huge! Absolutely huge! Peter Sabot! What went wrong with him? Just out of nowhere, yellow flags. Props to Jarrell Moore backing off there. Realizing what just happened. Peter Sabot sitting on the podium, P3. That is absolutely huge. Also in this championship fight as well, knocking down to 4th. It's a dream for Riga Milana if he can step on the podium here today. Oh, there's even more trouble here. Van Dorn getting through. Looks to be 3 cars there at the hairpin. Holy, what a fight! So much action going on. We also have Conti. We were supposed to talk about him about what, 15 minutes ago, about how well he's done to get up to P7 and P8. He should be at a confident P7 if he can stay near Ilham with that 10 seconds looming over him. He can't serve it in the pits. It's always an after race time penalty, but holy, 5 minutes left to go. Oh, and Ilham sliding the rear end as the sun slowly starts to come down here as the sunset. Donington Park ends us off here with an amazing and awesome fight here in this championship. You cannot get better than this one. Only at CMRSC. If you want to get in on this action, it's all for free. Join up. You're going to get the best of the best racing out here. If this is the action you want to get a part of, join up. This is awesome. And Conti, not over, not done with this fight here for P7, even though he's very well taken P7 with that 10-second time penalty coming up for Ilham. He still wants to get it done on track. I am a fan of that. So let's see what Conti does. Of course, he's got to stay within 10 seconds, so if he does make a mistake, as long as he stays in that 10-second window, he should be fine. Oh, wow. Into the hairpin now. Melbourne hairpin to go very deep on the brakes, trying to get a late apex. And I think he's just missed out on it. And now back onto the front straight, this time by and Conti looking for P7 once again. This lad, the sun is going to start to blind Ilham just ahead of him. Unfortunately for them, this is the only battle they can fight for against. Am I seeing that correctly? My goodness. Look how big that gap is. 26 seconds. Is Tim Stahl on Christian Romao. The dominant performance from Tim in this Grand Prix. Absolutely sensational as he's going for the back-to-back here in the championship. Looking for a debut championship victory. Last time we saw that, Andy Rees back at the IMSA Vintage Championship. Bit of traffic there. I think that's Martin Webster. It is Martin. He's going to get out the way, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do blue flags. You stay out the way, you brake before you get to the apex. Chat is saying Ilham the GOAT. Ilham is nicknamed Night Crew. Am I saying that right? Night Crew with the Q? Night Q? Crew? Let me know in the chat. Regardless, though, Ilham has a strong backing out here as more cars letting through in this fight. Ooh. Conti, not going to be happy with that one. He's going to say, oh, get out the way. And Nick, he's got to. He should have just let both cars through. He's just made himself a little bit of trouble here, and that is not going to help Conti. Conti's going to be saying, blue flags, man. Lap traffic, get out the way. And I agree with him. You can't. Oh, man. Lift. Lift, please. Okay, he does so. Again, if it's 2 cars coming up, check your real time and back off. But that is going to cost him there. Ooh, Serenos. Just locking off and going there. Where is Luca? I wonder the same thing. A championship's in a bit of jeopardy there if you want this one. Hey, championship leader Luca Andretti in the chat. But I think he already knows that. Yeah, once I come back, I'll win it. And Lima, oh no, a 10-second time penalty for cutting. And that is actually going to affect this battle here because Danny Nasseir is going to get a move here. And Layla, 10 seconds. And where is Layla? P13. And that is going to affect this battle as well. So a lot of late race finishing stuff going here and there. This is absolutely fantastic. Out with the family tonight. No worries there, Luca. You're all good. You gave yourself a great buffer as Layla just losing the back end. You've given yourself a great buffer. You deserve maybe a little break. But so far, fantastic racing with a minute left to go towards the ending of this British Grand Prix. Next week out, we head to the Indonesian Grand Prix. It's a race you cannot miss. The penultimate round of the championship where everyone's going to be as close as possible. Oh, it's up. 2 wheels up in the air for Layla. Round 4 of 5. The penultimate race is always the important one. Oh, and those tires are gone. You instantly sent Layla off the circuit down to 15th. And this is Layla's favorite circuit in CMRSC. Solely because this is the track she last won at the national layout through TCR. So it's a little bit of a shame that Layla could not improve that well throughout this one. Regardless, though, 15 seconds left to go, and the leader is on the final lap of this race, and we're looking at this fight here. Conti, Lesmana, we're going to have to look off for it in just a moment here because we still have our race leader. Let's talk about him for the last couple seconds of this race as he comes around here. What a performance here from Tim Stahl. As he comes around, Melbourne hairpin, once again, class of the field, and he's gonna come around the final corner here. And Tim, what a beautiful performance, dominating from start to finish. Tim Stahl will take the race victory here at Donington Park. What a fight. What a fight that was. Meanwhile, I did see it on the little screen there. Conti is going to get Ilham Lesmana on track. Top 3 front straight in podium position. Please, the rest to the pits. What an enjoyable race that was. Let's look for the bottom drivers as well. Christian Ramau to 2nd place. And then followed by... Where is he? Looking for him. I want to see him. Oh, can we find him? There he is. Christian Ramau in 2nd. And Regan Milana will take 3rd place. What a performance from him. And this race, as it comes down to the very end, the last couple of positions going through, once again, our leaderboard does this fun thing where it just jumbles everyone around here. Nonetheless, though, there's your top drivers coming at for it. Do we have everybody? I think we do have everybody. All right. Oh, no. I think we... there we go. I'm not too sure what happened to Christian. That's your top 3, ladies and gentlemen, as this one comes to an end here. Tim Stahl, victory here today, followed by Regan Milana and Christian Ramau. Swap those two. Christian, 2nd, Regan 3rd. Let's go talk to our drivers here today. All right, a very awesome race there, especially that fight for 2nd. Absolute classic here, that's for sure. And we're going to review all incidents, of course, at the end of this one. Penalties can, of course, be reported through the Report an Incident channel if you have anything you want to complain about. But nonetheless, though, we come to the end here, and let's talk to our top 3. Starting off with a man who finishes in P1. A dominant performance from him from pole position and taking the race win here today. Tim Stahl, victory. And I think this one may put you at the top of the championship. What a fight. maybe a little bit boring on your end, and it was just all about survival around here, you made this one work out for you to the very end. P1, how was that race for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. The car felt good. As you already said correctly, it was about surviving on this race because there was a lot of risk for cutting, which I saw a lot of people get penalties for. I saw Sabo get penalties for, which I think he was quite fast. He kept up with me at the start of the race, so that put me under a bit of pressure. But yeah, I think he probably maybe overdrove his tires or something, and yeah, that gave me a bit of breathing room, and then I just decided, you know, there's no point in hot lapping now, there's no point in trying to set the fastest lap again. I'll just slow down, make sure I don't cut, make sure I don't overdrive my tires, and just bring it home.
And bring it home you did, and these are huge points, especially with Luca not showing up here today. Has the hopes of this championship gone right back up for the chance to win this one entirely?
Yeah, I mean, we do have drop races, so since Hockenheim didn't work out for me, I don't think it damages Luca's championship. If he doesn't show today, which you know, is okay, but it should definitely put us into contention. And yeah, I'm excited to see where the championship goes.
Can't wait for it. Congratulations, P1 here at Donington Park.
Thank you.
And now we move up to P2 in this race. What a fight it was for P2. But in the end, we're going to drag up our man who finishes P2 up onto the board here. Christian Ramau. What a performance there, especially that fight for P2 towards the end of this race. That was incredible. But take us through that one as a whole. How was that race for you?
I mean, that was my best battle I ever had in this league. And this reminds me why I started in racing. It was because of these battles. I want to say sorry to Isabel since we had a little contact when I was talking. My quality wasn't that good since so much traffic, and every time I didn't have traffic, I did bad laps, basically. So yeah, I also had so much track limits that every time I went off on the battle, I needed to lift, brake and lift, to not take a cut. And yeah.
Well, nonetheless, though, you finish now in P2, back on the podium again, and it's kind of like what we were following in the previous championships, where your positions just keep getting better and better after each race. Is that race win just looming very soon in this one?
Probably it will be the same as in GT4, but I hope to race win next round.
Hope to see you do it. But congratulations, big points on the board. That's going to help you out big time here in this championship. And now, the man who finishes P3 back on the podium again. And I know he's going to be very happy after a hard compound tire stint towards the end put him under the most pressure in the world. He still fights hard and is still able to get a podium as well. It's Regan Milano. Regan! The doctor is in the office, and he shot the competition. He's now up into third. That is an incredible effort from you there, sir.
Thank you so much, man. That is hands down my best race so far in this league. I had no idea how long I was able to hold them up for, like, what, 12, 13 laps, I think, on hards. And out of everyone, it is me who finished up here. It's unbelievable, man, honestly.
Well, take us through that last fight there. I mean, hard compound tire. I mean, well, let's travel back a little bit earlier. Let's talk about those final pit stops. Was that just strategy to go on the hards? Or was that reacting to the other drivers coming in for their stops? And take us through that hard stint as a whole towards the end.
The hards has always been the plan. So the plan is 2 stops, first with soft and second with hards. And after seeing Peter, I think, gets a 10-second, I know I had a chance because before the stop, he's like 6 seconds ahead. And that plays a huge factor as well on my strategy because Christian pitted early. He started with hards, and I kind of reacted to it because when is the perfect time do I have to go to hards? Because he's gonna have fresh softs, and soft just strangely lasts quite much better than the hards, which is insane. But yeah, it's like 70% of them was my plan from the start, and 30% of it was like a reaction to both Peter and Christian.
Well, nonetheless, though, that fight was still monumental. It looked like you were going to finish in 4th, but what went down in your perspective up ahead for you to finish on the podium?
I don't know what happened to Peter, really, but I saw there's a lap car. He's stuck in the middle of the road, and Peter just suddenly went left to the grass. I don't know if they made contact or something, but yeah, that sucks for Peter, man. He really deserved this one, but you know, that's racing, I guess. It sucks, but it happens.
Well, nonetheless, though, this is going to put you at an honest championship fight with Tim Stahl going into the final 2 rounds of this championship. I mean, yeah, you were ahead of him in points going into this race. You're going to be very close. My prediction, maybe you might see Tim just edge ahead of you in the points. However, it's going to be close. You guys have to be top 2 from my calculations here.
I just hope that you capture all the battles on stream, honestly.
Oh, 1,000%. You're going to have a lovely time watching this one back. Regan, congratulations. Podium again. And let's see if this could be the championship season for you.
I hope so, man. Thank you.
That's going to do it there for this one. And thank you to all our drivers, and another incredible one out here today with over 20 drivers showing up. Hopefully we can have another one for the Indonesian Grand Prix coming up, the penultimate round of the season. And yeah, hopefully we can see you there. And to all our members in chat, thank you so much for viewing another spectacular round. One of the best Donington Park races we've had in the DTM World Championship throughout all its years. Hope we can see you next week. Penultimate round, and there you have it. The championship very much underway between Tim Stahl, Luca Andretta, Regan Milana, and who knows, you might get some more surprises before we head into the finale at Monza. That's going to do it, and we'll see you for the penultimate race for the Indonesian Grand Prix in just 7 days' time.